Hello, and welcome back to our next video in our training series. Previously, we have worked on completing those observational K-12 learning profiles for all students on our caseload, as well as setting up the student view. So our students are able to work on these skills remotely from their home or maybe during opportunities in the classroom for independent work. Today's video is going to focus on setting up the My Schedule and how that aligns to My Plan in your teacher dashboard. This can be a lot of information and can be some tedious work up front, but I promise you, if you take the time to really work through this, it's going to help you in the long run. You're not going to have to recreate the wheel. The wheel is going to be done for you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing, obviously, is heading to n2y.com, signing in with your username and password. I've already done so, and I'm here on my welcome page. So first things first, let's go ahead and create that schedule. So I'm going to head to my menu button in my top left corner, and I'm going to under the My Account tab, I'm going to select Schedules. So your schedule will populate. You'll see two different options up here, Classroom Schedule and Student Schedule. We're not going to talk about the student schedule at the moment. We're going to focus on our classroom schedule. Something important to keep in mind, nobody can see the times on your schedule, and it does not limit the amount of time that you can work on a skill. The times are more so there just to keep you on track and to help promote the My Plan. So even when students log in to their student view, they won't be able to see any time, or if they're getting to something a little bit later than they normally would, it's not going to penalize them. Those assignments and activities for them are still going to be available, even if it's a different time. So when I came on here, a schedule was already populated for me. This was actually from a previous year. So if this schedule is correct and there's no changes, I can go ahead and leave it, or I can make some edits. So to make edits, I'm simply just going to edit this existing schedule by coming up here to this little pencil. This will then bring me to this screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the different classes that were listed on my schedule. If I want to make changes to a time, I'm just going to click on that course and it'll bring this up. So I have the option at this point to then change the times. So 10 to 11:30 for reading might be a little ambitious. So I just need to change this from 10 to 11. And obviously we go ahead and do reading every day. And if I hit the apply to all button, all of those times are going to change. And I can save. You'll see also the option to drag stuff around. So if something works a little bit better for you, you can do that option. I'm somebody who prefers to see everything in chronological order by time because I'm a visual learner. So that's what works best for me. I can also create new events to an existing schedule just by coming up here and adding this plus sign. So you have options here. You could add some specials that our kids might have, recess, you could add lunch, because again, the times are just more so for you to keep you on track. I'm going to go ahead and create a custom subject. So this is going to be something that you can totally make your own if you call something, a little different. One thing I know we do with our kids is a lot of brain breaks where we're getting them up and moving. So this is actually going to be a movement opportunity for my kids. And I'm going to go ahead and make this every day from 9:30 to, I'm going to say 10. Now, if I didn't want to do it every day, you can see here there's options where you can unselect the day that you want it to be on. So you can make those adjustments as needed. I'm going to apply it to all, and I'm going to save. And this is what I was kind of touching on. So it brings it all the way down here. I just more so want to bring it up here because it's easier for me to keep track of and me to see. So if I don't have any other events that I want to add and I'm cool with my existing schedule, I've saved everything, I'm just going to go right here to this orange back button. So this is gonna populate, and we'll get back to that in a minute, but it gives you a couple of options here. So once you modified your schedule, you can go directly to your plan to set it up. If you are very well versed in Unique Learning System and you use Positivity, you have the option here to create a visual schedule. I'm gonna go ahead and just close that for the moment. I'm gonna give you guys see if I can zoom out here so you can see kind of what the whole picture looks like here. So it does give you every day of the week. The times are broken into half-hour increments, and you can pretty much plan your whole day out. So we're going to show you how to create a brand new schedule. So basically wipe it out and starting fresh. So just to do that, I'm going to come over here to this red start over. Yes, I'm sure. Confirm. And it wipes out my schedule. So you'll see this, how to set up a classroom schedule. I'm going to hit next. So here you have options, right? You can do a weekly schedule, which will be Monday through Friday. Maybe you have different blocks and you do stuff bi-weekly. So you have that option to choose bi-weekly, which is 14 days instead of the 10 or the 7, sorry. Or you can select days. So again, like maybe the blocks are every 3 days, something repeats itself. So you would just go ahead and indicate that and then choose the day that your cycle begins. I would suggest if you're just now getting used to how to do the schedule, just to set it up on a weekly basis. And I hit continue. And here's where it brings me. So again, a lot of the subjects here, which are our content areas, are going to be pre-populated for us. So all we're going to go do is drag them over into our schedule, right? Well, that AM core, if that's something you do. And then here at the bottom is the plus sign for add custom. So again, these are going to be our custom classes. So maybe you want to add lunch in there. You want to add recess. And you would go ahead and click continue, and it'll bring you to this page where you're going to put your times in. By clicking over here on the left side, it'll highlight it blue. That's what's going to indicate which one you want to work on. So we can go ahead and put some times in. Again, clicking this apply to all, and then we'll hit next. Okay, applying it to all. So, you know, science and social studies might not be something that you teach every day. So we can go back and add those adjustments if you're just a Monday, Wednesday, Friday science, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday social studies. But for now, we'll just go ahead and stick the times in. AM Core is a great opportunity to use some of these core materials that ULS provides. Everybody's favorite lunch, 11, 2:30, and recess. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put a social studies in, so I can go ahead and do that as well. And I'm just obviously making up times for the sake of it, but you would obviously put in your real times. Okay. And once you have everything entered in, you have a green check, they're going to scroll the whole way down to finish. And again, this will bring you now back to that main page and show you everything. So if you've made any errors or something pops up, what you would go ahead and do is just come back here to edit. And then it gives you that option that we showed first, where you can select the days, drag the times that make the most sense to you, all of that. So the option for a student schedule here, this is going to get kind of tricky and it begins to be a lot of information. So I would suggest and probably recommend that you just start using the classroom schedule at first. Sometimes we put too much information in and it can just get pretty jumbled around. So after your schedule is completely set up, you are working off of a classroom schedule here. So the next thing we want to do is to set up our My Plan. And that is going to be underneath the unique learning system, so the orange snowflake, and that's actually under your teacher dashboard. So it'll bring you here to this page and you'll clearly see it says My Plan and some options. So one thing about Unique that has changed from previous years is originally 1 to 2 units would be released at a time. Unique has now changed it, so every unit for the entire school year is now available. So ideally, this is great for planning because you and your team can sit down and start planning out your year in September. So when you're selecting these dates, you have different options and you can kind of pick and choose which months you want to do certain units, so you don't have to do everything in the order that's suggested. So in order to utilize the My Plan, the first thing that you're going to want to do is set your unit dates. So I'm just going to select dates. I'm on the elementary plan because that's what I taught. And now this window pre-populates here. So by selecting a unit, it'll bring me a drop down. And like I mentioned, all of the units are available up until summer. I'm just going to select unit 28. And then it's going to pre-populate with some dates that we should use it for. Now, you do know your students, and you know that sometimes they might take a little longer to learn something, or maybe we have an extended break such as Christmas and we're not in school, so we need more time to work on those. So you can adjust the start date of it and the ending date just by clicking on the calendar. It does a minimum of 20 days. The next thing here is how to create your plan. So ULS has a suggested monthly pacing, and they actually plan it all for you. Yes, you heard that right. Everything is planned for you. All the standards will be covered and it's at a pace. And you can even modify that pace. So again, if your students are a little slower at learning or they're a little faster at learning, you have the option to make modifications and changes, which I will show you. The other option here is you can create an empty plan. So you yourself are just using the template and inputting your own information. You can go ahead and save that. So each month it'll populate itself back up and you have the opportunity to use that same template, but put in different information. I'm gonna go ahead and work off of the suggested monthly pacing here. And this option here, excluding dates. So if you know that we're gonna be out of school on a certain date, so if we have an in-service day, or you don't think you're gonna be teaching something that day, maybe you guys have a field trip coming up, it'll let you select dates that you aren't teaching and populate that in the plan. So we're just gonna go ahead and say we have an in-service day coming up and add that day. Would you like to choose Unit 28 and some dates on a plan? So you can go ahead and add this to his plan as well, if you would like. And then I'm going to create my plan. You can also set the next unit here if you would like. Again, you don't have to do it. You can work 1 month at a time if you want. So that's how you start the My Plan. Now, in order to see it, what you're going to want to do is head up here to the word today. This is going to bring me to my plan. Things are populated based on my schedule. So at 7:30, we start AM core, and you'll see all of the different core materials that have been populated from ULS onto my schedule. And I can literally go right here to this PDF in the orange and pull it up. And you can run it however you like. Are you printing this off and using it as a full class? You can pull it up on your smartboard. The only thing I caution with the PDFs is the students will not be able to pull up a PDF from their student view. But again, it takes the planning out for yourself. So you don't have to search every day for these materials and what you're going to look for and what you're going to do. It's in there for you. We can honestly also edit this plan. So if I want to edit the plan, I'll just come up here to edit monthly plan. And you will see all of my courses here in the blue. So if I want to look at reading, and click on reading, and it's going to bring me up all of the different activities that I would do on day 1 of this plan. And again, you know your students, and so this could be pretty overwhelming and daunting, and you might not get all of these items done. That's okay. You have some options here. So just by clicking on reading, it'll bring up this little dashboard here and open it up. You can actually delete items. What you would do is select the item that you want to delete, and you'll drag it over into that trash can. Delete it. Yes, I do. All right, and then it's gone from my plan for that specific day. You can re-add it at any point, and just because you deleted it for this day doesn't mean that it's going to be deleted from every other day at that point. So it'll populate itself again in another month or another day down the line. The other option here is these little arrows. By clicking on those arrows, it'll bring up some dates, so you can actually choose a date that you want to work on it. So if we don't want to work on high frequency words today, we want to start them in a week, we have that option just by changing the week. And you can also go all the way down all throughout the I'm sorry, if you have the dates here, then you can actually add them to any other subject block or date that works better for you. And it'll move it for you, and then it will show you on that page. So if everything is great with this, I can exit it out. The other option that I have here, so our courses here that are kind of blocked off. So we can go ahead and look at science here. So if we pull up science, I have the option of adding things that I might want to. So all I would do would be to click on my subject area, and then I'm going to come up here to this plus sign. You could type in the content title. So we'll say science work. And then we're going to come down here to add resources. So from this point, we have some different things that we could add. We could add lessons that might align with science, if that's something that we like. And then we could add course materials. So maybe if you're high school or transition, you have these higher level courses that you could add to it that also go along with transition. And this is also where we would add library books. So you can add library books to your My Plan, and you would, again, by doing so, you would go to the plus sign. You could add your title and then choose library book. You can search them by levels. You can search them by categories. Let's see if we can find one that would be science related here. All right, we'll go with airplane technology and wind and all of that kind of stuff. So I would save. And that kind of populates now in my science. Other options that I have is obviously the core materials. So if there's other things, maybe I want to add some recreation and games and talk about rules and with recess, just so our kids can learn those social skills. So if everything looks good, obviously on that end, I can exit out, and that's now added in there. So I'm going to head back to today, and you should be able to see the book that you added, and it'll actually pop up as an iDoc, and you can read it right from that. Something else I want to call your attention to is in the My Plan, it pre-populates your extended content standards right on in there. So if you have administration or other people asking, well, what standards are you working on? Here they are, right here for you. So you could directly print your My Plan and have that ready to go. So I'm going to show you what the My Plan then looks like if your student would log in. So to do that, I'm actually just going to do an incognito window. I'm going to do n2y.com and sign in as my student. And this is a way for you to play around on two screens without having to exit out. So here is my student's view if he was to log in. So right now he is listed underneath the unique learning system, and it actually pulls all of the different activities that align with our monthly unit that he can work on right in here. His library book we talked about with airplane technology, he can pull that up and read it directly from here. And he has the option of going to his other subject areas that we've already added for him. So again, as you can see, even though we put times in our schedule, or it'll say here it starts at 3, it's more so just to keep people on track. It's not going to hinder them. They're not going to disappear if we don't get to it. It's more so just to keep everybody else on track. This is the My Plan back on my window here. And that covers all of our scheduling and our My Plan. And again, this is a great resource to use as you are learning the system and new to maybe content standards or how you want to run things. It's already done for you. So definitely utilize the tools that are here for you. And good luck.